What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Bolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else and what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and feature item for today, for episode 181, all the way from beautiful Miami, Florida, Kathrin Rein. Kathrin, thank you so much for taking the time. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
This is great. I can't wait to dive into the series of questions. Share out there with the Titan Nation who you are, why you do what you do, and to the level that you do it at. It's just absolutely inspiring. So I guess without further ado, Kathrin, let's just dive into the series of questions and start with telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
Cool. Yes. So my name is Kathrin Rein. I am in beautiful South Florida, in Miami to be specific. I've been here for 10 years. I'm originally, as you can hear from my accent, I'm not American. I came from Germany as an au pair, as a nanny for a little girl, and I just never left. So here I am 15 or 16 years later. I actually forgot how many years it's been, quite a while.
Unreal.
After I was a nanny, I was an actress and stand-up comedian. I was actually really good and really funny, believe it or not.
I believe it.
So, but at some point I realized that really I wanted to make money and I wanted to be in charge of my own future. And that's how I somehow fell into real estate. And I never pursued it myself. I had a friend that said, Kathrin, you're very smart and you're a quick thinker. You're good with numbers. I think this might be something you'll be good at. And I tried it out and I loved it. Totally unexpected, but I loved it. And so I've been doing it now for 8 years. I've been the last 2 years the #1 single agent in the state of Florida with KW. So
huge.
I've been very lucky to have the success that I have. And I do have an administrative team, but I don't have any agents on my team. So I'm a proud solo agent.
I absolutely love that. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that, but I mean, just really sharing your story and what got you to where you are today, Kathrin, is absolutely inspiring. And again, really just, I want to thank whatever friend might have encouraged you to get involved in real estate, because what you do and who you are is making such a beautiful impact on the communities that you serve, but also just the real estate industry as a whole. So thank you, whoever that friend is. And I'm so glad that you just—
His name is Fred.
Shout out to Fred. Yes, thank you. Love that. Love that. So when we're going into that process, because something that I want everybody to really understand is, to the volume that you're doing and the production that you have, I mean, being a solo agent is a big deal to be the #1 producer, in Keller Williams in the entire state of Florida. So we were talking just a little bit before we went live, but you being admin heavy and not having that big team, what made you decide to go that route just in the first place, the real estate?
That's a great question. I didn't choose it. I tried several times to form a team. It just never worked out. I don't have the people skills or the patience.
Sure.
I just always felt I wasn't able to deliver the same level of service that my clients are used to and that I pride myself in.
Wow.
And if I have other agents do what I'm doing. So I tried it a few times, and I have to say, honestly, I've been pushed into this team model many times, and I've been made people try to make me feel like I'm not enough just being a single agent. And that's not behind me, because I know whatever I'm doing, it's highly profitable and I actually enjoy it. And I'm now a very proud solo agent. It's just, everybody does business differently, and this is how it works for me, and I don't want to change it. At least not right now. Maybe in the future. I don't know what the future holds, but right now I'm happy where I'm at.
I mean, Kathrin, but I think that that's an inspiration to anybody out there who's watching or listening, is there's so many different ways to really make it and have great success in your real estate career. It's not a one size fits all. And I love that you represent that to the highest of levels. So this is fantastic. We're just getting warmed up. So I do want to shift into the next question, because this dives deeper into really understanding why you do what you do. And this is the why question. So what excites you every day to get out of bed, to do what you do to the level you do it at? What's your driver? What's your whys?
I think from a very young age, I was very driven to inspire others. I think that's why I also wanted to be an actress, because I've seen people that are successful and people that are at the top of their industry, what power they have and what they can achieve and how they can change the world. Wow. And I always knew I wanted to be one of those people that uses their success to influence the world. And I do have 2 children, and for me it's very important that I influence them in a way that I have never had the chance to be influenced as a small child. Wow. And obviously to create a better future for them, because I didn't have it always very easy. And I don't know sometimes if I'm doing them a favor to pave the road so easily. Yeah, I love to inspire other agents, and I've found great joy in coaching and teaching classes to other agents so they can become the same.
You know, and I'm going to dive into that in a second too, because you bring up a really beautiful point. But when we're talking about the whys initially is greatness for others and helping others and making an impact on the world. I mean, that's what an amazing why. It's above ourselves. You're talking about your family, right? Your children, and really setting that foundation and laying a pathway for them to see, you know, what you're doing and that there's no limitations in life. I think is a beautiful thing. But then you go the third layer and giving back to the industry and educating and really sharing your successes. I know you've had a ton of success, you know, when it comes to virtual open houses, things along those lines. You having several encounters with Gary Keller, which is a phenomenal leader and man himself. So would you mind talking a little bit about that and kind of the coaching aspect and the education portion for the industry out there?
Sure. You know, I'm a little bit careful of talking about coaching because I feel nowadays everybody calls himself a coach if they just sold 2 houses.
Well said. Well said.
I'm definitely not a coach. I would, you know, call myself other things, but not a coach.
Sure.
And I have had great joy in teaching a class about my virtual open houses, because since COVID started, I got 24 houses pending and sold, which is, you know, a little bit over 2 months. Yeah. And I've been really successful with it. And I developed a class on how others can do the same. So it's a 1-hour class. I taught it already to several market center within Keller Williams, and they all loved it. Wow. And I'm still getting emails from agents with questions and feedback and how much they loved it. And it makes me really happy that I'm able to influence others and help them to do the same.
I absolutely love that. And is this a open class that any of the real estate professionals watching or listening can take, or is this a Keller Williams only sort of thing?
No, it's an open class. It's not Keller Williams affiliated. It can be with any brand. If you want, I can notify you when I have the next class coming.
Please do.
And then I can also, you know, once we're done with this, I can put the link so they can sign up for the class. And I teach it normally once a week.
Okay. And yes, please, if you wouldn't mind putting the link in the comments down below out of this video. So anybody's watching or listening, they can click on it, register for it, and really just learn from one of the best and brightest. I'm so excited about that. That's fantastic. So again, going on to the next portion, and this is actually one of the crowd pleasers for the series, is everybody wants to learn from the Titans and how they've grown their successful businesses and really just get perspective. So Kathrin, if you could look back at your career thus far and pick or choose 1 or 2 things that you added to your business that took it from one level to the next. You really saw that change or shift. What's that look like for you?
My branding is really very good. I mean, you see, I think on this side.
Yes.
You see my avatar? You see my avatar? Okay, let me show you the sign here.
I love it.
I've had this avatar now for 2 years.
There we go. So cool. Yeah.
So this is my avatar. Oh my God, with this video. This is my avatar.
I love it.
Everything I do is turquoise. Like my letters are turquoise. I dress turquoise a lot. My hair is right now turquoise, if you can still.
Oh, very cool. Yes, a very subtle hint. Very subtle hint.
Everything I do is turquoise and very strongly branded. I think this is something that I've learned from my previous career that I took into the next career. So I'm really grateful that I had this entertainment experience prior. So it's not something that I did in vain. I did it, and it crosses over to my next path which is real estate.
Love it.
And so my branding is really, really strong. And I feel it differentiates me from other agents, because when I bring my material to listing or buyer consultations, people are blown away. Wow. I mean, my branding is really strong. And number two, what I think I do a little bit different than others, and I've thought about this question a lot, because there's, everybody does a million things that they think are different from other agents. I think where my real strength is, I'm a really strong relationship builder. And I don't build a relationship with someone just thinking of what they can give me, right? I think long term, and sometimes nothing comes out of it, but that's okay. And sometimes I just learn from someone something and don't get business from them. Wow. And this is something that I've learned growing up. It's in my family, we were always very giving. Okay. My mom always taught me that it's very important to give in order to later maybe receive, but we don't give just to receive. Right. And I grew up with this attitude. And whenever I get an email from a lender or a title person asking me if I can send them business, it kind of, this is not how I am. If I want to do business with you, Greg, the first thing I would do is send you business, not go to you and ask for business. Right?
Well said.
And this is how I've always done my business. So I'm a very strong connector of people. I sometimes build relationships with people that are outside of my industry. I have a book. So this is my handbook. And I have in here like business cards of people. And I look through that book every day. There's some realtors in there, but most of the people that are in there are outside of my industry. And I'm thinking, how can I bring them value? Wow. And sometimes it's a lender. This one lender, I sent him already 5 people. He's like, why are you sending me all those people? And I connected him now with an insurance adjuster. I connect people. And I think by doing those things without expecting something in return, people feel you're genuinely interested in them. And I just build a relationship with them versus just, hey, what can you do for me?
And I think that is, huge takeaways for anybody who's watching or listening in any industry, entrepreneurialism or real estate direct. I think that it is all about relationships and giving more than we're receiving, but then building those relationships on the right foundations and not just from the taking mentality. I think it seems like it should be commonplace, but unfortunately it's just not. So I love that a true professional like yourself is really bringing that to the audience as a reminder. I think that's crucial. And again, for success in business in the future, if you're not implementing that, you really need to be in a genuine nature. Going to the initial thought process through your branding, you've done such a beautiful job with that. And I think that's, a huge, huge example for people to really look up to and understand, hey, that it's the attention to details and being consistent with what you're doing, from the imagery to the colors to web design and development to social media platforms, all the different layers that you had just mentioned. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's taking you time to craft your message and really build that out. But everyone should be looking at professionals such as yourself to really have some guidance into that. I mean, not to throw you under the bus, Kathrin, by any means, but the Titan Nation is very known for reaching out to the featured Titans just to have strategy sessions, brainstorming sessions, just to really kind of pick your brain, or at least follow you on social media. So, be prepared, for some of those individuals to come out and reach out to you, only in the best of ways.
Fine. I love that.
Very cool. Very cool. And I think that's a wonderful notion too. And we got to give a quick shout out to Lab Coat Agents, because we are both fellow moderators, and that's a big thing.
Hi, Nick and Tristan.
How's it going, everybody in the Lab Coat world? But I think that's kind of the continued nature is, again, giving and serving and providing value and good content and really doing that in an unselfish note and not expecting anything in return. I think that if we all did that, we'd be better off as just in general, but as business professionals. So again, just one thing after the other, Kathrin, this is amazing information. We're just getting warmed up. So I do want to shift gears on this particular series, and it goes to the tricky part of the interview, and it's the challenge question. So I lead into it with every Titan this way. We all have struggle. We all have hardship, whether it's personal or professional, and no one's exempt from it. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer, it's not so much what happens, but really what we learn and what we can share and grow from. So if there's something that you've dealt with, Kathrin, that you overcame, became stronger because of it, what's that look like for you?
So personally, I have a lot of health struggles.
Okay.
I was an athlete until I was about 18. Then I twisted my ACL. I had to stop being an athlete.
Wow.
And then I think 6 months later, I got mono. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
That was it.
I have to ask Emily.
That's great.
So I had that for 2 years. And after having that, I memean, whoever had mono before, it really screws up your immune system. So
Wow.
the energy level that I had, let's say before, it was at 100%, I'm only at 60%. So I have to really, really watch my energy levels. And that's why I'm sometimes like really to the point. I'm like, no chit chat, let's get to it, because I know my energy only lasts that far.
Wow.
When I was 23, my father passed away in an accident. He fell from the ladder. You know, between 18 and 23, that's when you just go into adulthood and are on your own. I would say I've been really, really challenged, and it was a really tough time. It took me like 3 years to, you know, get out of this hole and do something purposeful in life again. And that was just really tough to deal with as a young adult.
Yeah.
Business wise, I mean, recently I changed offices.
Okay.
I changed brokerages. I made the decision that the current environment I'm in is no longer supportive of my growth.
Okay.
And I'm a very loyal person. I don't like to switch from one office to another. I mean, I've been with that office for like six and a half years.
Wow.
And I knew I would never make the decision if I don't say now. Yeah. So the first thing I did, I wrote an email saying, hey, just letting you know, I'm gonna leave the office. And then I printed that email, put it in a picture frame, put it on my wall in the office. And then I spent 2 months interviewing with other offices.
Wow.
And after 2 months, I finally decided on a new office, and I signed up, and I'm thriving, and I'm happy ever since. I'm glad though that I first decided to tell them I'm leaving, because otherwise I would have never left. I'm a very indecisive person. And this was really tough for me because I felt I was really going through a divorce, not because they did anything bad. They were really nice about everything.
Right.
It was just, I felt like I was going through a divorce because I was so loyal, and I like to stay in my same place, and I like to stay in the same environment, but it was just not feasible for my growth anymore. So that was really hard for me in the beginning of this year. And I'm glad I made the switch, and I'm really happy where I'm at right now. So sometimes you just have to push yourself to move in a different direction.
Wow. And you know, Kathrin, thanks so much for sharing all that personally and professionally, because it's not easy to do. But, you know, takeaways and understanding for the audience and myself included is, you know, when we're looking back at talking about health, I mean, truly, we're nothing without our health, and it's very difficult to operate on any level, you know, without that, you know, full strength or potential. But we learn to deal with what we have that way. And I love the fact that, again, you know what your energy and structure is, and you get things done. And I think that some of us take certain aspects of our life for granted. If we had full energy, that maybe we stretch something out, whereas you know, hey, I have X amount of time to get this done, so I'm going to get it done. So the production value and the time frame, the time management grows. You become stronger because of it. So even though we don't wish health issues on anybody or dealing with troubles that way, we learn to adapt and be stronger because of it. And I think that's a beautiful example for anybody who's dealing with any health issues or anything along those lines, especially in the times we're dealing with now. Bringing up your father, I can only imagine, you know, the level of devastation and just hardship and sorrow from losing a loved one like that. But again, and just to take it to another spot is, you know, we should always be constantly reminded that we never know how much time we have. And the people that we love, you know, we should just hold them and be with them and do the best we can, because you just never know. And again, that's not something anybody wants to have to go through, but the message is love on your loved ones, your friends, your family, because you just never know. the last portion, which I really appreciate you mentioning, because there's so many business professionals that are paying attention to this, is change is not easy. Moving is not easy. There's a lot of loyalty. And that's a really important thing to state. However, you have to do what's best for you. And you're not doing it in a negative way, trying to hurt anybody, but by you making a change, being able to burn as hot as you can imagine and really help as many people as possible. To me, that's the best possible thing that you could do. And if you're keeping yourself in an environment that doesn't allow you to do that, you're not just hurting yourself, but you're hurting your clients and your community.
Yeah, I was really miserable. So
yeah,
I'm glad I have that behind me. And I really have to say the last 2 months, so many wonderful things have happened that I really know it was the absolute right choice.
Gosh, I love this. I absolutely love this. And again, this is just so incredible that you're taking the time, Kathrin. So thank you so much. So I do want to go on a happier question on this particular next one. And this is actually one of my favorites. It's the travel back in time question. So not to change anything you went through in your life, because what you went through made you who you are, right? Yeah. Positive or negative. But if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice or two, what would you say to younger Kathrin?
Well, if you would have known me 10 years ago, I was a completely different person.
Get out. Okay.
Completely different. I was super shy, super, I mean, I was so innocent, and it was unbelievable.
Wow.
You know, I was this German girl from a village that landed in the US, and I didn't know anything. I was so naive. That's the right word.
Okay.
I would give myself permission to shine. Because I've always been in my life told I can't do things. I'm too small. I'm too short. I'm too skinny. I'm a girl. This is not good for me. I will never make it in this. I will never make it in that. Then I was too fat. Then, you know, as an actress, you face all those insecurities.
Sure.
And I've never truly been able to shine until about, like, I would say 2 years ago, when I gave myself the permission to shine. Because it's also something in the upbringing. You know, if you're from Germany, the Germans are a little bit different than the Americans. You know, in Germany, you're not really allowed to be successful. You're not really allowed to be amazing. So you sit with your friends, and everybody talks about their life, and everybody has a problem.
Okay.
So if you're doing really well, you still have to say, yeah, I'm doing okay, but yeah, it's hard. So, right? And
that's so different.
And when I go back, I still have that feeling that I sometimes have to say that. And I don't know if that translated from my upbringing to the US, but I never really gave myself permission to say, I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm successful, and I'm proud of it.
Wow.
And I started doing that 2 years ago. And the magical thing happened. I inspired others to do the same and to be the same.
Love it.
And I realized, like, holding yourself back to shine or not telling your story to others is like really taking away from others the permission to shine as well.
Yeah.
So that's something I would tell my younger self, that it's okay to be amazing. It's okay to shine. And if other people tell you to dim your lights, then you need to hand them some shades.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I know that there's so many people out there that are watching or listening to this right now, and they're saying, yes, thank you so much. And there are a lot of us that are a little bit more held back, or we've had different thought processes, like it's not okay for us to do this or be that best version. But I love that you're mentioning it is okay. And in fact, it's the right thing to do. It's not just okay. We should shine. Everyone should be the best version.
And you know, in life, we have friends that we grow up with, or friends that we're friends with. And at a certain point, there will come a time where you can either go to the next level and leave those people behind, or you can stay back with them. And you will lose people along the way.
Correct.
And if you go the next step, some people might even follow you. That's the beautiful thing. So, I mean, you will inspire so many more people than people you will disappoint. So just go for the people that you will inspire, because the ones that are disappointed in you, they were not your real friends to begin with.
I couldn't have said it better. I think that again, and there's a lot of fear from people that way as they're leveling up, they're changing, they're evolving, but surroundings may be not evolving at their pace. But again, giving yourself permission to do what's right for you and for your family, and I love what you said about, the light, and there's ways that we can help those individuals, but there's only so much light we can shed on others. I mean, they have to soak it in. And if they don't, you have to keep progressing. You can't just hold yourself back. And I love that. And I didn't know that about the cultural differences. And I know that we all have different cultures and backgrounds that way, but it's so interesting to me to hear that. And again, you coming from, furthermore, you coming from an environment like that, coming, and doing your thing and shining so bright and making such an inspirational impact. I mean, Kathrin, this is incredible. So again, I know there's so many notes that we're touching on here, but this is huge, huge advice. And we can't go back, right? We can't change what we did, but everybody who's watching and listening right now can shine bright, can give themselves permission. And that's the point. I love that you said that. So let's go into the last we got a couple questions left. We're almost done. And this is actually the secondary crowd pleaser. Everybody really wants to learn as the Titans learn. So this is the feeding of the mind portion. So I always lead into it with books you're reading or read that inspire you, podcasts you're listening to, influencers or coaches on social media, conferences you like to attend. How are you feeding your mind?
I go on a lot of conferences, obviously not right now. Last year I went to 27. Whoa. So I constantly learn, and I need it. Like, I need to feed my brain. Otherwise I'm going to go crazy.
Love it.
I listen to a lot of podcasts right now. I just started listening to Empire Building. Very cool. Is our amazing super ladies at Keller Williams. They just started this podcast. It's really amazing. You all got to check it out. It's called Empire Building. For sure. I listen to the One Thing podcast, Think Like a CEO, Speeches by Great Business Leaders. Okay. It's also a great, that's an Audible book. Like, I listen to it while driving. Like, I don't have much time to sit down and read. Sure. Who Moved My Cheese? Very cool. The classic. It's great. Tax-free wealth. That's the kind of stuff that I'm listening to, or that I'm, that I listen to the Audible book. Okay. Following people, I follow anyone that thinks outside the box, that does business differently, and it's not always a real estate agent, because honestly, like, when you're in real estate, you talk to and hang out with so many real estate agents. Sometimes you just want to hear about something different. Yes. And so I like to follow people that think outside the box, even if those people have died. Like, I love Marilyn Monroe. I read up on her a lot. Okay. Because she was such an amazing, giving, gentle soul. I mean, she unfortunately had a very restless and how do you call it? Troubled soul. Oh, okay. But she inspires me every day. Wow. And primarily people that are givers. I don't like people that are not givers. Like, people that do good things in the world. They inspire me. I think that's huge. And you're a part of that group as well, just so you know. I mean, out there, the givers, the people who inspire. I want to touch a little bit deeper on you too when we're talking about feeding the mind in books. You are a published author. We are in talks for, the second book coming out. So would you mind sharing a little bit about, your book, and then in the future, anything you're willing to share? Sure. So I published last year a book in Germany with some other women. So we all told our stories on how we got to where we are at now. And that's in German. And the book is called How Did You Do It? So I was telling my story from, growing up in this little village in Germany, and now selling multi-million-dollar properties in Miami, Florida. That doesn't happen every day, right? Sure. So, I've really always wanted, like I told you, one of my big whys is I want to inspire others. And the book that I'm working on is about how to shine bright and how to make it happen. Okay. That's all
Okay.
I want to say right now. Because
That's totally fair. It's in the works, and please let me know when that book is ready, because I would love to share it out with the Titan Nation so everybody can pick that up. I think it'll just be truly inspirational. If it's just a sliver of what you've given us today, I cannot wait to read it. So it'll just be really, really exciting to see that progression. So Kathrin, this has been just chock full of amazing information, takeaways, really getting to know you deeper. It's been an absolute honor. I want to finish everything up with a final question. And this ends up being a quote or mantra that sums you up as a person, a professional. What's that look like for you?
Give yourself permission to shine.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's just, it rings through from start to finish, everything that you've said and mentioned, the giving heart and the humility, and really just the work ethic and drive and impact in the real estate community and the people you serve. I mean, Kathrin, this has just been absolutely incredible. So I want to thank you again. It's been an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. It was a great interview, Greg. You asked great questions.
Thank you. Well, you're giving great answers. And again, providing all this value in nature for everybody out there. And I do want to say you're an official real estate Titan. So that is a thing.
Thank you.
So,
yay!
Official Titan, Kathrin. So that's another thing you can add to your long list of accolades.
Awesome.
But hey, everybody, thank you as well for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like what we're doing with your Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know where to go from here. I do want to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lionbolt Media. If you are involved in real estate, you're looking to grow and scale your business digitally, please take a look at www.lionboltmedia.com for more information. We are live at Real Estate Titans every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. Catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.